Hi, my name is Thessa. I'm a relationship-centered care coordinator at Nightingale Hammerson. Today I want to talk to you about an activity called creating our own story box. We all have these objects that are really meaningful to us, but sometimes for someone living with dementia, it is hard to keep track of those objects. They get lost, they get misplaced, but they're really important because they give such a nice prompt for connection. There's so many different ways you can do this. It doesn't have to be a box, it can be a bag, but it's so nice to have at hand because it makes reminiscing a little bit easier. When someone has dementia, they might talk repetitively about the same thing. Using a story box can interrupt that loop that they get stuck in a little bit. I wouldn't take everything out at once and ask a question like, what do you remember? Because that might really cause a lot of frustration or a bit of nervousness, but pick up one thing and you look at it with interest and go, this perfume, that really reminds me of grandma. What do you think? And just go from there, but do one thing at a time to not overwhelm that person. Quite often, dementia starts with short-term memory loss, so trying to find objects that draw on long-term memory, so maybe when someone was younger, a child even, or in their 20s and 30s when they were starting their family, when they were getting married, the objects from those times they might remember and tell you about. If someone has certain items that they're very precious about because they're scared of losing them, it might not be the best idea to put it in a box where maybe they can't find it. Sometimes someone living with dementia gets very paranoid and they feel very scared about losing things, and they might even think that you've stolen something. So have a think about which of these items can be meaningful but maybe not cause an argument. And that really depends on the person, but it's avoidable, those arguments, if you really do it with the person. Filling the box together can be an activity on its own. It doesn't have to be done in one go. You can just keep adding to it as you go. If someone cannot speak at all, this might still really work because the objects can be very nice to touch and feel and to smell. So it can really be adapted for any person in a different part of their journey in dementia. I've brought my own story box just to give you some ideas of what you could put in your own. I have this Dolce & Gabbana perfume because it reminds me the first time I kind of bought a more expensive perfume. So this is a nice memory for me. For a lot of people, perfumes can really give someone strong memories and a sensory experience. Other things you might want to put in are just lovely little trinkets like this one. So this I bought on the seaside back in the Netherlands. Is nice to hold, so you want to look for objects that are nice to hold and have a bit of maybe texture to them. When you grab these objects, you could say something like, oh, that looks like seashells. What do you think? This little guy here I bought in Wales. This I usually have in the Christmas tree. So that is a great memory for me. Postcards could be really good to put in there because they're connected to big live events usually. Most people do have jewellery that is meaningful to them because it's often connected to special events. For me, this necklace was, I wore that at a dance performance. For me, this was a lovely memory. So have a go at creating your own story box. Hope you have a nice time putting it together, and it gives you some nice moments of connection.